It's all well and good, but we've got to do it on the day.
Yeah.
I don't want to turn there.
I really hate this gearbox. I really fucking hate it.
Yeah. Just on your back.
In auto, it drops down so quickly. When it's manual, it does not want to drop down. So...
you son of a bitch!
I've noticed that. It does not, does it?
No.
Gently!
Auto.
Gentle!
There you go, baby.
Like, no problem.
Why you can't be gentle
Manual,
with me?
it's like so slow in
Just rubbed after sun on her. Could I have a glass of Dr. Pepper? How are you drinking coffee?
I'm not. It's orange juice. Tomato juice.
Hey, let's have a look. Currency.
Oh, have I not started the right fucking stream? Oh, well, bollocks to it.
Oh, fuck it. You won't do it on the day anyway. You never know.
Right, hang on. End stream.
Right. I'm now going to go and jump into the PM.
Yeah, best luck, Jamie.
Bye, Jamie.
Best of luck,
Yeah, good luck.
everyone.
You too. Well, it looks like I'm racing on my own tonight.
He's defo balanced, can I just say?
He's not balanced.
No?
No, I know what he is.
Increased downforce.
Increased downforce. When you do time trial, your friends can fucking copy.
Oh, yes, you can copy the setup that they're running, even if it's default, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
What? I never knew that.
Yeah, so that way you can find out the setup.
So yeah, Jimmy's the biggest bullshitter.
Alright, why are you running down?
I cannot comment.
I ain't gonna fucking beat you, am I?
If you want to find out, go on time trial.
Yeah, copy your setup.
I'm actually on time as well.
What you do is you go to your friends list, you press on Dan, press load setup, and then go and see what it is. Yeah, I'd agree with that. There's only really the back straight and the start straight where it's quick, innit?
I'm gonna have a quick bash quick. How long we got?
7 minutes.
Oh, it's time for me to fuck up a lap, it's alright. Increase downforce, I just don't think.
So would Max have got third today then? Because I heard they had pace problems. Oh, Shropshire. I don't know. I don't think it's too far. No way Donington is. I could take it there. Bryn knows that like the back of his hand as well.
What?
Fuck that balance. I feel fucking slow.
That's because you are.
Ah, no, I am.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God Dean did get a picture of me and him together. Oof.
Ah, that breaks, man.
That'd have been Dean's new profile picture, wouldn't it, me and him?
That fucking... I can see me crashing out. If I hit a certain curb.
I think you need to put full traction control on them, pal.
Stop being a pussy, Owen. Just
No.
Oh shit, the Toyota got a puncture, went side by side with the Alpine. Did you see it, Mats?
No, I ain't seen that.
His tyre blew down the start straight. Send it you quickly, hang on. Who, Dem is?
Fucking down gear, quick, come on.
Send. Right. How did Peugeot get on? Where did they finish?
Not looked.
They were just a test event, though, weren't they?
Pretty much.
Yeah, it'd be good for a test event if they was competitive, wouldn't it? Right, I'm going to jump in another party. Best of luck to the guys that are racing tonight, and I shall catch you after for maybe a bit of pro clubs.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Love you, Maz.
Love you too, Matt.
Good lad.
Love you too.
Love you, Dan. Love you,
We'll
Brad.
have sex later, yeah.
Love you
Did you do me, Dr. Pepper? You are? Did you chat up Paul?
either go forward and start mid-pack, or at the back, or the sprint race, or
Yeah.
Matt's saying ready up. Whoops. Tell Mazda, ready up. Mazda, ready up. Yeah. This is Fury. Thanks to you gays. Thanks, man.
And my hormone balance.
It's raining. It's raining. It's fucking raining. What's Dad's reaction? What's Dad's reaction?
Wow. I just, yeah.
Ah, it's fucking wet.
Yes!
Ah, but the race is dry.
Oh, shit. Well, it doesn't really matter then, does it? It doesn't really matter
Oh man.
then.
Matt's pissing himself. He says, haha, pretty.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Simplay Motorsport here for the qualifying. And we're going to go on board Big Boy Brazier then. It's Simplay Motorsport, it's F2 time, and we're at the Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona, here for rounds 5 and 6 of the season. And what a season it has been already in this championship of Formula 2's the sprint qualifying, the feature race qualifying, the one-lap pole, and we are on board Jamie Brazier as he exits turn 3. The championship standings look like this. Gary 131 is on 51 points, 5 clear of Forsey. Jamie Brazier is in P3. This man himself, 16 points off the championship lead with Unorthodox 21 points back. Rabbit Joe and Fury are on 18 apiece. No Rabbit Joe tonight. Lucas Roth is then on 17 points. No Lucas Roth tonight. BM Motorsports tied with him on 17. And he is here as Fury has been disqualified for being parked in a dangerous location. That'll be because of the fact he's obviously not at his wheel. A. Smith is at 9th on 14 with DJ Phil 10th on 12. Craig E on 11th points. Leon Fernie on 4. Bryn on 1. Smokey Devil on 1. And Shane That Bozzy Boy. And a newcomer you can see on the screen, Mazda on no points as well. ART lead the constructors by 7 points from High Tech. Primo in 3rd with Carl in 4th. Trident 5th. HWA Race Lab 6th. Campos in 7th. MP Motorsport 8th. And Uni Vitosi in P9 with no points on the board. Jamie Brazier though, coming to the end of a wet lap here in qualifying, and can you believe it? It is raining here in Catalunya. What a sight to see as it's coming to the end of his lap, and the beginning of the sprint race will be the top 10 reverse. So Fury will start P11. Who's going to be on pole though? It looks like it's this man Jamie Brazier, just by half a tenth from Unorthodox. Gary 131 3rd with Forsey 4th. Smithy down in 5th. Mazda 6th place for himself then, and a wet qualifying that had a lot of drama at the minute as Fury's not home from work yet, Fury's granddad says, so hopefully he will be in time for this one then. So Jamie from Dan, Gary, Forsey, Smithy, Mazda, That Bozzy Boy, PM Motorsport, Craigie, DJ Phil, which means DJ Phil will get to be on pole position for the sprint race here. What that does mean as well is Big Boy Brazier gets himself another pole position to add to his tally already. And a good job for Jamie Brazier because he's on 20. Gary 131 was 1 behind him. He's now on another pole position in this one then. And for Mazda here, what a chance for him tonight to add to his wins tally in this league, as well as add to his appearance tally, as well as he makes not only another appearance here in the F2s, but also the chance for him to get off the mark in this season as well then. He's on 10 wins altogether, so this is a chance as well for him to get an extra win on the board and add himself to that winners list and tie himself with such apex as 11 wins then in this one. As we look at the F2 standings, it's a fantastic sight to see everybody here today as that Bozzy Boy hasn't made an appearance yet. But we are ready then, and we are getting ready for the sprint race here. And get your votes in for who you think will be on, for who you think will win this race. Good evening to Furious Grandad and to Peaceful Stepdad and PM Motorsport as well. Who will win the sprint race? Big Boy Brazier, Unorthodubs, Gary 131, or Forzy, as the drivers then go for the formation lap here at Catalonia. Then, can Dan get his first win of the season? So let's talk you through the grid. So the grid for the sprint race then is DJ Phil, your pole sitter at the moment, from Craig E in second. PN Motorsport is third. That Bozzy Boy will start fourth, who's just tapped another car and been disqualified. Mazda will start P5 with Smithy in sixth. Forzy seventh, with Gary 131, his title rival, right behind him. Unorthodubs in ninth, ahead of Jamie Brazier 10th, and Fury on the back of the grid on his own. So DJ Phil will lead them away. And don't worry if it says disqualified on the formation lap, they will still get into race. And hopefully we get Fury in as well. As then you see there, the tyre choice for these drivers, 26 laps, and this man DJ Phil on a free tyre choice is the only man not on the hard tyre. He's gone the opposite way and he's on the soft tyre in this one then. And you have to say that DJ Phil has possibly just thrown a good opportunity to race win, if not a podium, away here, because of the fact that he's on the soft tyre. And that will mean he'll have to pit. I mean, if that soft tyre gets to the end, that'll be great. He should be absolutely rapid at the start of this race, though, no doubt. So we'll have to see what happens with DJ Phil early on in this one then. So, the drivers round the final corner. And as they line up on the grid for the final time. For the first time, should I say. As 11 people currently watching the stream, hit that thumbs up button. And don't forget to subscribe if you are new. The drivers then are getting ready. Hopefully Fury's back in his box. There's only been 2 votes at the minute, and both votes have gone the way of Jamie Brazier. But it's green and go, and Fury doesn't move, so he's clearly not at the ring. That may disqualify him. That'll be a shame to not have Fury score points in the first race. And down the straight they come. Here comes then the leaders. Look at them, all 4-3 abreast in the background. And into turn 1, it is that Bozzy Boy up to second who's had to avoid cars, and that's put him off. And he's had to rejoin, but forces a car wide, and there's another car that's span of Smithy. Bozzy Boy's up into second, and so it's Phil from Bozzy. Dan's already up to third. He is side by side with Forzy, and on the back of that Bozzy Boy, they could be 3 abreast here as we have lost Fury, and I think Liam there looks like he's lagging, has had a tap from Dan. Forzy then up into third with Gary fourth, but Mazda's fifth, Jamie only down in sixth head of PM Motorsport. That Bozzy Boy rejoins now behind a spinning Smithy and Craig at the start. Smithy is well off, or was that Craig? No, it was Smithy off. We have lost though Fury in this race here as down the back straight will come DJ Phil for the first time this lap then, with Dan and Gary. Gary's in fact got ahead of Forzy, so Gary here then looking racy already in early doors as into the hairpin they've come. And Gary 131 will sit on the back of Unorthodubs for the time being. Forzy still with him, as is Mazda in the blue car of the Univitrosi Racing then. On board with Mazda in the Drugovic car, the Brazilian, and look at it, just Constantina up out front, and Gary right on the back of Unorthodubs as Unorthodubs is trying to get on the back of DJ Phil up front. As here they come then, down the start straight. DJ Phil sets the fastest lap. Dan's now going to have a look up the inside of DJ Phil into turn 1. Craig E's had a spin. Yeah, it's set to 3. That's why these yellow flags. DJ Phil trying to hang it around the outside. Now Gary's going to have a look, and they have a bit of a touch. And Gary, great speed and momentum through the corner, has made his way past DJ Phil, who's they've dropped Fawzi as well. And Gary sticking to the back of Unorthodox with glue as A. Smith into the pits early doors. That is his race ruined. In this position, I think Bozzy Boy's had a mistake as well. And Dan then, away he goes. In the lead of this race, not won one yet. But then again, he's took pole in the first 2. He didn't get pole tonight, so is that maybe a bit of kindness for Dan in terms of getting in the lead of this race by not having the pole position. Vote still going the way of Jamie Brazier as it stands at the moment. Down the order, Big Boy Brazier right on the back of Fawzi and DJ Phil. Green you see there then, look, as Jamie Brazier in the red and white Prema car's got himself ahead of Master, and he's going to have a look on Fawzi at the hairpin, but no can do. There's Master, PN a little further back. Then it's Bozzy Boy, Craigie and Smithy, who are all a little strung out, although Craigie can still see Bozzy Boy. Don't forget DRS will open next lap as Leon Fernie's left the session. Hopefully he'll be able to get back in for race 2. As will Smokey Devil, he says as well. So then, what will happen as they come down the start straight? Does the DRS open? No, Dan does the fastest lap. Gary can't answer back. So it'll be the middle sector DRS zone where Gary will have his opportunity. And look in the background at Fawzi trying to attack the back of DJ Phil. And on board his camera angle here by the wing mirror, can't get it done. And where's Big Boy Brazier? Behind him, no less. Fawzi and Phil, teammates, let's not forget, in this series. And Fawzi being held up a little bit here by DJ Phil. And here comes Big Boy Brazier, and Fawzi tries to defend and does so. And this could allow Mazda onto the back. And while all these squabbles are going on, Fawzi's trying to hang it around the outside from Phil. Yellow flag in sector 1. That is Bozzy Boy, who's made an error somewhere again. And Jamie Brazier looking up the inside of Fawzi at the moment. Will Fawzi yield that? He's trying to go around the outside, and I tell you what, Tuck's back in between Mazda and Big Boy Brazier. This then could give Fawzi the chance to have DRS on Jamie Brazier down this back straight. Let's see if it does open for Fawzi. Yes, it does, but Jamie has DRS on DJ Phil. No battery in these cars. Mazda has a look on Fawzi. Can't get it done until Fawzi outbrakes himself, and Mazda now has a look at the inside as Fawzi went wide, but thinks better of it and couldn't get the job done. Here in this race, both of the all the votes in the 3 votes gone the way of Jamie and Fawzi. When it's these two out front, and Gary at the minute coming through the detection zone, just outside a second slower than Dan, behind Dan, sorry. So the battle between Big Boy, Fawzi, Mazda, and DJ Phil is all gonna continue here then in this one. Down the start straight, the DRS opens now, and for all these drivers, Jamie's going to look up the inside of Phil, but he's a bit too far back to get it done. DJ Phil then holding his own, and is that the soft tyre that's giving him the speed at the moment? He's very wide there though, and rejoins and tries to rejoin while Jamie Brazier's here. Now, I think it is. Yes, it is. It's Jamie Brazier who's lost a bit of front wing, and an end plate has gone as Fawzi gets past DJ Phil as well. Mazda's not quite close enough, but Big Boy Brazier there will feel the effects of that broken front wing. DJ Phil ran very wide, and that allowed Jamie up, and DJ Phil just rejoined into the side of Big Boy Brazier. Mazda now then can try and get the job done on DJ Phil. He'll have the DRS, but with no batteries in these cars, it's very hard, as that Bozzy Boy has had another spin. Mazda very wide there, and Fawzi now hunting Jamie down, and Jamie will lose the effect to downforce with that end plate missing, as the top two barely inseparable. Jamie already 3.5 behind Gary. He's going to find it hard to get past. A big as then here comes Mazda right on the back of Phil, and just tries not to outbrake himself. Phil all over the place and struggling as Dan does the fastest lap. Here comes Mazda then. He's going to have DRS on DJ Phil. Gets a better exit from the corner. He's not over the curb like Phil was. No DRS though for 40 this time round. Mazda tries to go side by side with Phil, but Phil looks like he's got the better straight line speed. Mazda better on the brakes. You bet your bottom dollar he is, as into turn 1 he goes, and Mazda moves into P5 on his first F2 out in this season. Don't forget, in this sprint race, not everybody scores points. It's only points for the top 8 in the sprint race then, in this one. So a fascinating time of it at this moment in time. So far, everybody doing exactly what they need to do. Top 8 score points. So Phil still in that points. Craig E is on the last place of points at this moment. Evening to Fury's mum. Go on, Little Smith. 10th says Smithy in the chat. So good evening to Smithy. Dan now has a vote to his name as he's gapped Gary that little bit. As we go back to the front runners, Dan from Gary then, doing a solid job with Jamie in second, Jamie in third. Forzie's in 4th place. Mazda down in 5th. DJ Phil 6th, PM Motorsport 7th, Craig E down in 8th, 12 seconds out of Bozzy Boy. And then it is that Bozzy Boy on his first F2 outing tonight as well. And then A. Smith as Dan once again pumps in another fastest lap of the race, so going from strength to strength. And you get the feeling here that for DJ Phil, he's really going to struggle in this race. 5-lap-old softs, they're going to start to be dying compared to the hards. The hards are getting stronger while the softs are just going to get worse and worse. And you feel that for DJ Phil, it's going to be a losing battle here. Gary now 2 seconds back. Mazda trying to get within a second of Forzi. And just on board Mazda then. Nowhere near the detection zone yet. So if Mazda can get these couple of corners right here, he can, honest to God, really be on the back of Forzi and really sort of put him under that pressure. Needs a good exit. This is where he needs a good run. Detection zone coming up. If he can just find 300ths of a second through this corner, which he has done, look, has he? Just had a bit of a wobble there, and that's lost him the time. No DRS for Mazda this lap then. We'll see the rear wing not open now. No, look. As Jamie Brazier, he's missing apexes left, right and centre. And that front wing is causing Jamie Brazier not what he wants in this race. He wanted to gain on Gary and Forzi in the championship. He'll gain on Forzi at the minute. He can see Gary, he can see Dan, but he's not getting any closer. Now then, Mazda's had a good final sector at the minute, right on the back of Forzi. And here he goes, round the final corner, was within a second at the detection zone. Now the rear wing should flap open, it does. And here comes Mazda, let's see him pull Forzi in. Steady. Very steady and slowly, he pulls him in, and on the brakes, Mazda, every lap he does in these cars, he's going to get stronger and stronger. And a massive congrats to Mazda. First time we've seen him out on track since the birth of his daughter, and since he's moved into his new house now. So Mazda fully ready to go and be back. Hopefully it'll be nice to see him out there in the GT3s Thursday night. As now he's really getting on the back of Forzi here. PM Motorsport slowly reeling in DJ Phil, and that Bozzy Boy has took a chunk of time out of Craig in. I've not seen a yellow flag for a spin, so Bozzy must just be on the pace at the moment. As on the brakes goes Mazda, he's right within that detection zone now. No wiggle this time. And up the hill, over the crest, through the right-hander. How good a run does Mazda get? A better one compared to Forzi. Forzi had a bit of a wiggle, and here they come then towards the hairpin. Mazda's going to go the long way round. Forzi gives him the room, and Mazda has to wait another lap. In fact, he's got it done. What's happened? Forzi must have made a mistake. Just so I went to change to Forzi, pressed the wrong button, and we got Phil. But Mazda, if I know I pressed the button at the right time, but Mazda must have just got past him. So Mazda's now ahead of Forzi. Forzi's got all his front wing, hasn't he? Yes, it does look like it. Dan sets another blistering lap, and he's just pulling away from Gary, but Gary doesn't need to do much more at the minute. Second place is a good lap, is a good place to be, while Forzi is down in 5th. But on the back of Mazda, that bit of slipstream and DRS, Mazda doesn't think about covering this one off. He knows he's probably going to lose this one. Yellow flag middle sector, that is Bozzy. So for all his good work, he's dropped it in that middle sector. Oh, that's a big off, as A. Smith is now going to get past him. And Bozzy Boy then struggling in that middle sector, and could soon enough be lapped by Unorthodox, who's coming round. Will he lap him? That is the question then. 14 people watching the stream at the minute, 9 likes at the moment. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you are new to the channel. Just hit the 300 mark, so thank you very much. As we head into the middle stages of this race, Dan's doing a cracking job out front from this man, Gary131, who's just pumping in fastest lap after fastest lap. Jamie Brazier, with that end plate damage from DJ Phil, has just not been able to make the gains on Gary that he wanted. Double winner last week at Algarve, and cannot do anything at the moment. If you're wondering why I'm taking a few long pauses, I'm just being able to have a drink. It's so hot today that a drink is needed. Craig E has now made a mistake. Bozzy Boy, no wing damage, but Smithy doesn't go through. Bozzy Boy, who's got only half a wing now. These cars very basic on their wing designs, so it might not feel it as much as an F1 car would, but he's only got half a wing, so struggling at the minute. Smithy then gains on Craig E. Jamie just not got the pace. Mazda still behind Forzy, and after that start line, couldn't get closer. It's the only battle on track really at the moment, as the votes go in the way now of Dan and Jamie Brazier, 40% each. No one has had a vote for Gary yet, and these two having a heck of a scrap. Mazda actually quickest in sector 1, so if you can put the lap together, we'll get the fastest lap time as well. And don't forget, that's worth an extra point. And for Mazda then, it's all about scoring points. Only small points in this sprint race. The feature race coming up in a moment. 37 laps here at the Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona. Now the DRS is open. Now Mazda can start to look to get closer. He actually got a worse run out the corner than he'd have wanted. You see him get closer under braking, and that seems to be Mazda's advantage at the minute. It seems to be a bit better on the brakes than Forzy, as Forzy's gone very deep after hitting the curb. Mazda keeping it tight right behind him. Now, can he stay right up the gearbox of Forzy here, as Dan pumps in yet another fastest lap? And how close did he get there? Did he touch him and lose a bit of wing? I'm not sure, but how close did Mazda get? He hasn't, so he's got away with that. Within 3 attempts, the rear wing flaps open, and here comes Mazda. Does Forzy think about defending? He does now, so he's going to make Mazda go the long way round at turn 1. Does Mazda get it done on the brakes? Can he keep it side by side? Great racing from these two. And Forzy, does he just chop the nose off? It seemed to be that way, as now DJ Phil's going to come through and retake 6th place. PN's lost a lot of time to DJ Phil, and Mazda's now back to 6th. But was that a bit of a chop of the nose there from Forzy, I wonder? Work to do then for Mazda. Dan flying. Gary not able to keep at the same pace, but going great guns nevertheless. Jamie Brazier has gained on Gary actually a little bit, so has Gary had a wobble or two, because Jamie's actually pulled a couple of tenths back this lap to Gary131 then. DJ Phil's tyres must be screaming out for just to be looked at, just to be changed. The 10 lap old softs at the end of this lap, and they must be absolutely exhausted. A wet quali, but a dry race. What's the feature race going to be like? That's the biggest question. The feature race could be even worse. It could be wetter if there is rain around. Jamie crosses the line then, and he's 2 tenths down on his best, a 31.4. Nowhere near Dan's best at the minute. Now Mazda has a job of catching DJ Phil. There in the background, look, you can't even see him yet. You can't see PN in the background. I was going to say there is PN, but he's not actually close enough. Mazda within a second of Phil. One man who we've not spoke about much tonight is this man. Not had the best of starts to his night. He's down in 9th. And A. Smith, who's up there in the championship at the minute, and Gary will want him to score big points because they're only 7 ahead of High Tech, and High Tech currently 4th and 5th. Smithy not scoring a point. Now this is only small points in this race. Gary scoring the biggest of them all, but with plenty of points left up for grabs at the minute. 296 points in the drivers and 504 points left in the constructors. Long way to go. Every team can still yet as of yet, win the Constructors' Championship and the Drivers' Championship, so it is not over for anybody. Now then, Mazda's within a second. This is looking back from Phil. You can see Mazda look just get closer. Let's see DJ Phil's tyres. They're looking good at the minute. You just see though that rear right tyre, the one on the left hand side of screen, is starting to grain a little bit as Mazda really outbrakes himself there. Look, and that'll be a warning for track limit surely. Now then, let's see how Mazda closes in on Phil down this straight. The DRS will open, and here comes Mazda then down the start finish straight. Is he going to pull out and look to make a move here? Forzie's got an extra vote. It's 2 votes apiece for Forzie, Jamie and Dan. And Mazda gets closer, but no cigar at the moment in time. Phil only 3 seconds off the back of his teammate Forzie. Just doesn't have the pace at the moment tonight. Jamie's got a lot closer to Gary as well, so that wing damage may be just starting to come to Jamie now. "20 people currently watching the stream. 9 likes, guys. Girls, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. The next goal is 350 subscribers. We're on 306 already, so we're only 44 away. But now then, this is the big one for Mazda. Clear Phil to get back onto the rear of Forzie. He's got a DRS zone to do it. He's within 4.5 tenths of a second to do it as well. Mazda flying at the minute in terms of catching DJ Phil, 2 tenths of a second. He chooses to go the outside. Phil brakes. Mazda tries to brake as well. Doesn't outbrake himself this time. Now for Mazda, he's just got to follow Phil through here as Dan into the 1:30s now, absolutely pumping in the lap times. Phil runs a little wide. He's actually gapped Mazda a little bit. And here's Mazda just braking a bit earlier and being a bit more cautious. He needs to really be on the back of Phil through here. And he was. He's within 6 tenths of a second. And here comes Mazda then, 6 tenths as they go flat out. Mazda not really gaining. That's what I like about these F2 cars, is the advantage of the DRS is nowhere near as great as it is in the F2 cars. As let's go to Smithy. Currently catching, you see there, Craig E for that final points position. Craig 38 seconds off the back of PN. And Smithy at the minute, lapping really well. Now Dan's on the back about to lap that Bozzy boy. So when Dan gets close enough, Bozzy will start to get... that he's not getting the blue flags already. I can't see any from the Marshals post. Smithy has passed Craig, so we have just missed that. Craig must have had a wiggle because there was a second between them. No blue flags from the Marshals at the minute for that Bozzy boy, but Dan is coming. Smithy then is ahead of Craig E. That is job done. What about Mazda on Phil? He's just got to think of sending it, has he? No. Patiently waits. 2 tenths up on his best lap as well. Now the blue flags wait for that Bozzy boy. And he's got to let Dan go here. He can't afford to get too many blue flags. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. And that is Mazda who's had an off. And that Bozzy boy stays on the racing line and lets Dan through. Very tight though. That was close and Dan spun! As a result of the blue flags, Dan has had a spin! And that has given Gary 1-3-1 the lead, and has given Jamie Brazier second place. And Liam there didn't really give Dan the room at turn 1, and Bozzy boy has caused Dan to have a spin and lose the lead of this race. Right then, Dan is absolutely going to be furious with that. He's now got to get on the back of Jamie Brazier, and Gary is on his P1 at the minute. And I tell you what, if it doesn't rain, it pours for this man in F2. He hasn't won anything other than a GT championship. He's currently 4th in the standings for this championship. Oh, a big wiggle there as well. Pushing so hard, he has a huge wiggle. And how has Unorthodox not put it in a wall? But Dan has got to reset and refocus. And has got to go again. Mazda's got to recatch DJ Phil. That is 5 seconds, that gap. DJ Phil Sofso will go off. There is 12 laps left in this race. Gary's just about to start lap 14. In fact, Gary has started lap 14. Any blue flags for Bozzy Boy at the minute? None. Keep your eyes on the flashing screens for when there will be a blue flag. Dan is that quick at the minute. He's right back within a second of Jamie, but don't forget Jamie has that initial wing damage. Dan's got to get his head round it. He's got to get regrouped. Gap's down to half a second, just under half a second now. Smithy 40 seconds behind PN. You'd imagine P8's all he's going to get, and Gary has inherited some more points here. And Dan flying, purple sector 1, yellow flag sector 1. That is DJ Phil, who's had a spin, and all them soft tyres just going off because PM Motorsport then, he's got to find another place. Good job for him. Here comes Dan, and just as this race started to just teeter out a bit, Gary's got past Bozzy. Now Dan on the back of Jamie has greater speed because of Jamie's wing damage. Dan, DRS wide open now. Jamie looks to defend from Dan, in fact keeps his line, and Dan has to wait another day, has to wait till the start line. What a battle this is. Carling versus Hi-Tech, versus Prema. Third versus fourth in the Constructors' Championship, and we know Lucas Roth here. That gives Prema a real good advantage, with Prema now both outdoing one of the, if not both of the Hi-Tech cars. That will put them maybe into second place in the Constructors' Championship, a lot closer to IRT you'd imagine as well, as Dan has DRS now again on Big Boy Brazier, but cannot get it done down the start straight. They'll be coming up to once again lap that Bozzy Boy. What scenes then? Was that because Bozzy didn't give him the room at turn 1? I'm not too sure. Either way, Dan is going to be absolutely wanting to get this one done. Now then, here's a chance for Smithy to get ahead of one of the Hi-Tech cars, because this man's strategy hasn't worked. The soft tyres have not lasted the 26 laps and have gone off. And DJ Phil is having to pit for the hard tyre. Where then is Smithy? It's a slower pit stop than in F1. Smithy's coming into the last sector as DJ Phil is now away, but fresher hard tyres could give him the advantage over Smithy at the end of this. Smithy's coming through the final corner while DJ Phil is now off the limiter. Where is A. Smith? There is A. Smith. So nowhere near him. Dan 7/10 off the back, but has to clear Bozzy Boy, who this time gives him the room. And plenty of space given by Bozzy Boy to Dan this time around. Now Dan, just outside DRS, quickly gets back in it. Jamie's wing is not helping in these trickier parts of the track compared to Dan's. 5 seconds to gap Jamie to Gary. Now there's a vote for Gary in the chat to win this race. Don't forget, Jamie will be on pole for the feature race here. And Dan must be absolutely livid. Smithy, though, 4 seconds off the back of DJ Phil then. So what can he do? He's got a chance now to catch DJ Phil. This is his big opportunity. But back to this battle. Dan, right on the back of Big Boy Brazier. They've dropped that Bozzy Boy. Dan will be livid with Bozzy. Fastest lap at the minute goes the way of Unorthodox. There are the position changes. No penalties at the minute. There's the position changes once again. Look, so Craig's down 7, Bozzy's down 6, Jamie's up 8 at the minute. Can't quite see the fastest lap. It is the way of Dan by 2/10 from Gary 131. There's your gap to the leader. Liam's a lap down. Craigie 1:18 off the back. Dan now, though, right on the back of Jamie. Did he just get a bit of a bad run out the final couple of corners? He did, as Gary now pumps in the fastest lap of the race. Dan losing the extra bonus points at the minute for fastest lap. And Forsey going to lose out to his biggest title rival and going to get caught by these two, you'd imagine. Forsey's just not had the answer. Dan pulls out to go around the outside of Jamie at turn 1. Is he going to swoop round the outside? He has the inside line for 2. That's where he went off when Bozzy attacked him. But now Dan back into second place. Does Big Boy Brazier have an answer for him? So Dan back into second place. So Jamie down in third, but with that wing damage is struggling. As Buzzy Boy in the background, a big wiggle. Where's Mazda? Not made the progression either wanted. He's only down in fifth at the minute. PN. Smithy's slowly gaining on Phil. 3.6 seconds now the gap. He's on older hordes than DJ Phil. But Jamie trying to stick within the second of Unorthodox here. There are 19 people currently watching, 9 likes on the stream. Hit that thumbs up button. I think Dan has just got out of DRS range of Jamie Brazier, so really on it is Dan. 6.2 seconds to Gary though, as Gary pumps in yet another fastest lap of the race. And at the minute then, Jamie not being able to stick with Dan. Looks a bit quicker in the straight lines, but he's losing so much in the corners. It is unbelievable. Forsey 11 seconds off the back of these pair then, but what about A. Smith? He's down in 8th place at the minute. Can he catch DJ Phil? 3.5 seconds. There is DJ Phil, who made the pit stop. His tyre strategy just didn't work, and it didn't happen for him. The gap's now down to 3 seconds, Smithy to Phil. So in them couple of corners, Smithy's gained 7/10 of a second here, 8/10 of a second now. Smithy's flying compared to DJ Phil at this part of the circuit. And Smithy absolutely rocketing to DJ Phil. From the end of the hairpin to the checkered flag, he's caught a second on DJ Phil. On lap 19 of 26, DJ Phil might have cause for concern. Look at that. Gary, Dan and Big Boy Brazier all up 7 places. Mazda starts, hasn't gained a place. He's not lost a place. The biggest loser is currently Craigie, down 7. Smithy only gained a 10th in that first sector at the moment. We come up towards the sector 2 timing screen, and Smithy here then, this is where he seems to gain the time over Phil. This last sector here seems to be where he's gaining all that time. It's 2.3, so he's already gained another 2/10. Can he gain even more at the moment? Down the start at the back straight. This is where he gained like 7/10 of a second from Phil last time. So it's 2.3 at the hairpin. He's already gained a 10th, look. That goes back up. 2.3 out of the hairpin. It's now 2.2. So that's a 10th gain. 2/10 gained. Again, it's ebbing and flowing. At the minute, 2/10. Now that becomes 3/10. And as Phil pulls away, Smithy will now pull away. And it's just 2/10 this time round. So Phil must have made a mistake last time. But out the final corner, it is 3/10 that he's going to have gained this lap around. This the closest battle on track at the moment. Dan is honing in on Gary 131. But he's not close enough at the minute. Gary close to lapping the back of Craigie, so we'll be getting that benefit of DRS from Craigie soon enough, which will not help Dan out. Dan, though, takes his fastest lap back and does a 29.9. So an extra point on the board for Dan at the minute, and Dan flying at the moment. Smithy's actually lost time, and what's happened first sector? It's Gary 131. Dan sails past. Big Boy Brazier sails past. So the current championship leader drops to P3, and Dan has his race lead back at the moment. Forsey too far behind. But Gary's down to third, and you imagine Dan will sail away. Bozzy Boy comes to put the soft tyres on. Shouldn't need to pit, but is his front wing taking too long? Front tyres very slow to go on. Smithy now under 2 seconds to DJ Phil for that final points place. Gary is just threw this race win away. Not through a podium away yet. We'll gain over 40, but we'll lose out to Jamie and Dan. 4 seconds to Jamie. Can he catch that back? If he can get second place, then he's only losing out to fourth in the championship. And as DJ Phil runs wide, Smithy has as well. And for the ART boys, they've both had a spin this lap. And here comes Craigie. As Smithy tries to rejoin and does so now very slowly. Craigie has to slow up a little bit. But this puts Craigie now on the back of the final points place for 8th place. As they attack each other into turn 1, Smithy pushing hard to get Phil. Now Craig's pushing hard to get Smithy. Can you believe it? On board Craigie then, the HWA team, looking for yet another point. Smithy and Gary both making a mistake this lap. Gary needs to get that time down to Jamie as quick as possible. 5 laps to go. He's 4 seconds behind. He needs a second a lap to take out of Jamie's time. As Craig's actually lost a bit of time to Smithy in this middle sector and can't gain it back for the DRS zone then. So Smithy's made a mistake. Gary's made a mistake. The ART cars must be fuming in the garage. 18 people watching the stream. Guys, girls, hit that thumbs up button. Hit the bell to be notified when we are live. And don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button as well. Dan Davis and myself will be back live on Wednesday for the GT3 Pro-Am Series. 6 races left, and Little each has a good commanding lead as we head to Daytona Road Course. And don't forget to join Dan Davis or an Orthodubs and Big Boy Brazier, as it says on screen, live for the pros, where they only have 6 races left as well at Daytona Road Course. Gary's actually losing time to Jamie here. Now, does Gary have a bit of wing damage like Jamie? Yes, he's missing an end plate. I don't think he's missing it as much as Jamie. Just looking at Jamie's front wing. No, they have the exact same damage here. See, Gary is carrying the same damage as Jamie then, and may struggle to catch him. And Dan sets another fastest lap of the race. The closest battle is Smithy and Craigie, but I have a feeling that Smithy's starting to pull away. He's not had the best of luck as Smithy in this race, but starting to pull away. And as the poll is going to end at the end of this lap, so if you have a final vote to get in, get your final vote in. Dan from Jamie, from Gary from Forzy, Mazda P5 and a Stade P5. And this is Dan putting a lap on Craig, who stays very wide at the hairpin, and that has lost him his time to A. Smith. PM Motorsport, not seeing this man much tonight, but what a night he's had. Bit of a quiet one for PN, but nonetheless, it's going to be good points scored for PN. And it's going to still be enough points that will help him out in his championship. And to help his teammates get that ultimate goal of winning the Constructors' Championship. As Dan then leads this race. What a job he's done. Gary and James, they have carried damage. Evening all, chilling in the garden with a nice beer, says Peaceful Explosion. Been great weather for it. Yellow flag sector 2. That looks like it's Buzzy Boy once again, who's had another spin. And this could allow DJ Phil. Smithy's actually within 4 seconds of DJ Phil. So DJ Phil made a mistake there then. So if Phil carries on making a couple of mistakes, Smithy could be on him for a point or two then. Right, the poll has ended. Smithy could right be on DJ Phil here. 3.5 seconds, you know, that gap is coming down. So is DJ Phil just making a few too many mistakes? Just looks very slow at the minute. Good evening to Mother Davis in the chat. Did you manage to get the bush out of the front garden? That's the biggest question. Did Dan give you a hand? As Dan comes round to start the penultimate lap of this race. And I can tell you now, I've got his stream up on my phone next to me. His front left is absolutely took a battering. So there is no way DJ Phil would have made it to the ends on them soft tyres. This man, though, did pit and he's still in the points. But he's got this man right on the back of him. I said Dan was starting the penultimate lap. He has done, yes, that's right. Lap 25. As he is on the back of A. Smith, who'll be on lap 24, trying to catch DJ Phil. And Smithy here needs to let Dan through, and he does now. Does he? I think he is. He's leaving the door open. Yes, he does. Now, he'll want to stay with Dan. Bonuses for him here is he's lost a bit of time to Phil. He will, though, have DRS from Dan on DJ Phil in this middle sector. The bush is still rooted, says Mother Davis. That isn't good. Hello, everyone. Have a nice time of day, y'all. Thank you, ZK1WY. Thank you for your kind words. Smithy, though, with DRS, gets that gap now under 3 seconds. But for an Orthodubs, he could help Smithy out here by getting DJ Phil to get the blue flags and slow down. Is there any blue flags yet? No. Bozzy Boy now sets the fastest lap on the soft tyre. So he's gone quicker than Dan and takes that extra point away from Dan. And with Bozzy Boy being in the top 10, that will give him the bonus there. As DJ Phil does slow down to let him through. And look at this now then. Smithy within a second of Phil. So Smithy now right in the driver's seat to get an extra couple of points from DJ Phil. Dan's on his last lap. We will cut to Dan shortly. At the minute though, Smithy could get it. A Smoky Devil and Leon Fernier in. So the grid will be up to 13 drivers. Can Smithy get this job done on DJ Phil Green? What a chance of an extra couple of points this could be. Bozzy Boy takes the fastest lap. I don't think Dan's overly bothered by that. Oh, a big slide for Dan. He's held it well. Good job he's not lost it there. Smithy now with DRS. He's surely got to have a look at Phil. He's only got this opportunity because the minute Dan crosses the line, the race will be done. Smithy's going to pull out at the last second. He's going to send one up the inside. And A. Smith, did he get it stopped? I don't think he did. Oh, Phil clatters into him. And Smithy now offline as Phil has a wiggle. And Smithy comes back through. And is that job done? We're going to have to cut to Dan. I believe it's job done. But for this man, what a yo-yo race he's had. Dramas all around. His teammate's not here. But he is going to be a winner in the F2s and extend his gap on the all-time win list. On Orthodubs wins the sprint race here from Big Boy Brazier, who can probably count himself fortunate in that P2. Gary131 is the man who has missed out there. It will be a P3 for him. Good job, Forzy. Just didn't seem to have the pace tonight. He comes home for a P4. Mazda on his first start. He'll be absolutely loving that with a P5. Solid result in the sprint, 10 points. Smithy has crossed the line for 7th place. DJ Phil did get 8th in the end. Craig E has crossed the line for P9. That Bozzy Boy will cross the line in 10th, but will get fastest lap then, unless PN Motorsport here can take it away from him. But it is going to be a 6th place. And a good job from him. We await Bozzy Boy to cross the line then. Nobody took the fastest lap off of Bozzy. So while we work out the championship standings now, what a dramatic first race we have had. Bozzy comes into the final section and the helicopter camera trying to capture him cross the line. The championship standings now, well, what can I say? Gary has only gained a point over Forzy, who's still second. Jamie and Dan 23 and 26 points back. They don't claw as many points back as they'd have thought there. Something doesn't seem right about that. That's because it isn't right. Gary has somehow scored 15 points here when he should have scored a little less. So he should have scored there we go. That sorts itself out a bit better now. The points are all over the place at the moment because that one as well isn't right. And we're trying to get these points updated for you as soon as possible. Then in this one. But Dan, your race winner. Liam, your fastest lap of the race. We're going to be back in about 5 minutes' time with race number 2. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, and we're here now for the feature race. And if the first race was anything to go by, you're in for an absolute cracker then in this one, because these boys are going to be giving it their all. Jamie from Dan, Gary, Forsey, Smithy, Master, Bozzy Boy, PM Motorsport, Craigie, DJ Phil, Fury, Leon, Fernie and Smokey Devil are in for this one then. Smokey and Leon will start at the back of the pack, and if they're not in the right cars, that is fine this week. That will be sorted for the week after. They will still score points for their actual teams. But the championship looks like this then. Gary 6 points clear of Forsey now. Jamie 14 behind with Dan 17 behind, so it's becoming a 3-horse race. PM Motorsport moves up to 5th with Smithy now. That's not altered. Sorry, Fury is now into 6th. As he's ahead of Rabbit Joe by a point. I'm not sure why that says he's ahead of Rabbit Joe. But either way, it says he is. Lucas Roth on 17 as normal. Craigie goes up onto didn't go on to move on to 12. DJ Phil goes up to 13. Mazda on 4. Leon Fernie on 4. Bozzy Boy on 1, as is Bryn, Smokey Devil and Shane on no points then. So we're getting ready to go now for this next race, and for Fury it's going to be an interesting one. See what he can do from the back of the pack here, because he's now got a task on his hand and needs to now figure out what he's going to do in this race from the back of the pack. Jamie will lead them away, and hopefully no dramas. The tyre situation is this. Gary starting on the hard, so going the opposite strategy to the rest of the field. So that's the big one in this second race. Gary going the opposite strategy. 20 rounds this season, ZK1WI. So 10 weeks worth of racing, a sprint and a feature. This is week number 3. This is round 5 and 6 we are doing here. And the boys are right up for it. As the poll has gone out without me actually typing anything in yet again. So we'll end that and we will get a poll out for you. The drivers, though, are coming to the back of the pack and are going to line up now. And it's green and go here at Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona, for the second race, the feature race of the night, as the two teammates of Mazda and Buzzy Boy go side by side. They're also side with A. Smith in the pack, as down comes Big Boy Brazier and Unorthodox, and that is Gary launching one up the inside on the hard tyre, and he taps the side of Forsey and gives him the space back and gives him the room. Jamie from Dan, Forsey, there is Gary, Buzzy Boy's up to 5th, Smithy and Mazda get through, Fury's already up into 8th with Craig E. 9th, Leon Ferdy's 10th, Smoky Devil 11th, DJ Phil down to 12th, and PN must have had a moment somewhere. He's had a bit of a spin, but battles all around. Fury now up into 7th place, and Mazda then just dropping backwards a little bit. And that is a bit of wing, and whose wing? I think it might be the teammates of Smoky Devil and Leon Fernie who have touched. I don't believe it is, so is that? No, Leon Fernie's a little further up. Was it Leon Fernie's wing? It was an end plate flying off the side. But then a good start here at the moment, as Bozzy Boy looking to attack the back of Gary 131, and as Gary's teammate Smithy right behind him as well. After a disastrous first race, he needs a better second race. He's got a point on the board, but he's going to want some more at the moment. The Constructors' Championship as well looks very interesting, which I'll get to in just a moment. High Tech have Prema 1 point behind them. Yellow flag sector 3. Who is that off? Or who is that? It is DJ Phil. Oh, that's a bit of an unsafe rejoin from DJ Phil. And PN has to avoid. Dan right on the back of Big Boy Brazier now. And is he going to look to pull out in turn 1? Here they come, side by side down the start straight. Here comes Jamie and Dan. The cameraman hasn't picked them up. And Dan tucks in behind. Jamie's gone deep. And he has to avoid turn 1. And Dan takes the lead of this race from Big Boy Brazier. Gary trying to get on the back of Forsey. Bozzy's trying to stick with him, as is A. Smith. Fury 7th. He's trying to get on the back of A. Smith. Great to see Fury in this race. He's up the inside of Smithy through turn 3, and that'll be job done into turn 4. And Fury P6, easy as you like. Can Mazda get on the back of Smithy? Leon Fernie, Smoky Devil, Craig E here, look, having a battle. Leon Fernie and Craig E having a battle. Top 10 score points this time around, let's not forget. So a cracking scrap that all these drivers are having at the moment. What a start to this race then. Can Jamie get anything back on Unorthodox? That Bozzy Boy gaining on the back of Gary 131 had a bit of a wiggle there, it seemed, coming up the hill. And he's not going to be able to do anything. His teammate Mazda in the background though, up the inside of Smithy. As easy as you like, Smithy gives him plenty of room. And does Mazda get better on the brakes? He does. And up to P7, more points for the team and more points for himself early on in his F2 season. Trying to follow Fury, you get the feeling though that Smithy's going to try and sit to the back of him and come back here. Bozzy Boy right on the back of Gary, as that is Forsey nearly in the gravel, and Gary, don't forget, on that different tyre. So although Bozzy's sticking with him at the minute, Gary's on a different strategy to Bozzy. And a yellow flag, sector 3, that's now gone, track is clear. And here comes Gary then, that Bozzy Boy, let's go on board him, as he's got Gary and Forsey just in front, and now the DRS will be open for Gary and Bozzy and Forsey to try and get through. Bozzy, huge lift there, and he's really trying to get on the back of Gary 131. But Gary, don't forget, 2-lap old medium tyre, sector 1, yellow flag. DJ Phil is round again, and a terrible time of it. Now then, Dan and Jamie, 4/10 of a second separate these two. Dan has had immense pace all evening, looking to do what Jamie did last week, and that'll really put a stamp on his championship. Extends his gap to Fury once again. That's another race win for Dan. He's on 37, Fury now on 30. Nothing there. Gary's not close enough to Bozzy, and Bozzy must have made a mistake because Fury up the inside. Job done. Bozzy can't fight that. And now he's going to have his teammate all over the back of him. And will team orders come into play? I don't know. But this now, Dan flying once again. DRS wide open, it'll be for Mazda. Bozzy all over the place. And look at this gaggle of cars. Bozzy's rear wings open, as is Mazda's. Down into turn one, Bozzy goes. He looks to send one on Fury and does send one on Fury, but outbrakes himself. Pushes Fury wide and then has a wiggle as they rejoin. And a domino effect. 3, could it? I don't think it will, though. Bozzy, though, back ahead of Fury. That was one heck of a move from Liam into turn one. Committed as ever. And great awareness from Fury to give him the space. Now Liam needs to keep his cool. Yellow flag, sector 1 again. DJ Phil having a horrid time of it. Down in last place. Jamie will have DRS on Dan. Smoky Devil has got past Craigie. That's in the background as well. That's for the final points places. PN's gaining on them. But back to this battle. Fury, DRS opens on that Bozzy boy. Will he look to send one on Bozzy, I wonder? Where does the camera pan round? I don't think he has, because the camera didn't pan neither. No, he hasn't. So all holding stations at the minute, and they're all slowly closing in on Gary. Gary's Hodge just taking a while to come to him then in this second race, but obviously they're only 3-lap old tyres. Fury very wide there. We saw Dan's tyres at the end of a 26-lap race on his stream. If you're not watching his stream, go and check him out on Twitch on Orthodub16. We saw with Dan's tyres at the end of his race that the front left was absolutely worn to bits. Liam goes defensive. Fury should have Bozzy done, but the problem is Bozzy can't come back in the middle. Here he does, and that was risky with his teammate, and Liam's going to come back at Fury up the inside and keeps the place. Great move from Bozzy, but he's now lost out to Fury round the outside just before the Porter turn 3, and Bozzy loses out. Nearly chopped the front wing of his teammate off. And is he going to look to turn one up the inside of Fury later on the brakes? He thinks about it, has a look, can't get it done. And Fury now up into P5. Mazda watching on. As Liam, I think, gave Fury a bit of a tap up the rear there. He doesn't look to come away with any damage. Fury and Mazda and A. Smith gaining here. Back down the pack. Craigie has some DRS, will have DRS on Smoky Devil. I want to see that Bozzy boy though. As they come with DRS, he taps the back of Fury yet again. And Bozzy getting a bit impatient here and wants to get on with this. Where does Fury think of defending? Is Bozzy going to launch and send one up the inside? He's going to think of a late move up the inside and does send one. And does he push Fury wide? No, manages to keep it a bit of a wiggle on the rear. And Bozzy and Fury, huge snap. And that is Bozzy. He's out the race. Master slowed. And Bozzy's out. We have a safety car. And Bozzy is out of this race. Fury comes in the pits. Did he get damage? Smoky Devil and Craigie have a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. But for Bozzy boy, it is nil point, 13th place in this second race. And he was making some moves there as well. He looked like he was really starting to dance and make some moves on the drivers around him. It was great entertainment. But he has just had an incident. And I tell you what, you cannot blame Mazda for that. Mazda slowed. He saw Liam lose the car. He backed off but got tapped in the rear by Ace and Leon Fernie, DJ Phil in the pits. Huge strategy call already. 26 laps them hard tyres did. There is 31 left in this race, but we're under safety car conditions. Huge moment in this race. And for that Bozzy boy, what a shame, because he was dancing all over the place and making some moves. No safety cars in the feature. We've got our first safety car of the evening. And you remember the last time Dan led a race when there was a safety car? His strategy was horrible. But this time, he's going to come in the pits, and Jamie Brazier has answered straight away as well. Now then, Forsey didn't. And Gary's on the horns. Gary's got a long way to go, so Forsey leads this race from Gary 131. And what an opportunity for these two now. Dan, slow pit stop. Jamie's come out just behind Dan. Craigie doesn't stop yet. He maybe could have stopped. What about Smokey? He is going to come in. Does Craig get ahead of Dan and Jamie here then? Craig's up to speed. Is Craig going to split Gary on an Orthodubs? No. So Dan out P3. Fury gets ahead of Smokey Devil, as does Mazda. As will A. Smith, I'd imagine. No, Smithy's coming in. So he's only just pitted and comes in again here. Not sure what that's about. Smithy, PN, Leon Fernie stay out. I imagine DJ Phil will as well. Well, what drama here in this first race tonight, in this second race. Absolute scenes. But what a battle that Bozzy Boy did put on for the short time he was in this race. He was making moves. And for Bozzy Boy, a lot to look at, a lot to comprehend on going into next week's race. Obviously, he should be back Wednesday night. So then, Forsey now comes in. That's a lap too late if you ask me for Forsey, because the pack are close. Craigie comes in now for his pit stop as well, a lap too late. Because Forsey's lost out to Fury. He's going to lose out to Mazda. Where's PM? Forsey's in. He's now away, so Craig hasn't held him, fortunately. But where's PM? He's coming round, and I tell you what, PN Motorsport here could... So Forsey's strategy has not worked. Gary, yes, he's got a pit. Can he pull away? Gary might be hoping for another safety car later in this race. Craigie's come out the pits. Does he stay ahead of Leon Fernie? I think he does, just. Leon's got past him actually, but as it told, I think it's told him to give the place back. So Leon does just that. Now then, we'll wait for the safety car to come in. I think we were waiting Smithy to get to the back of the pack. Right then, what does this man do? What's his thought process? He's got to lead the pack away from a very quick unorthodox. We're down to 12 drivers. Lap 8 to 37. Smithy's still nowhere near, so I reckon we might get another lap behind the safety car. 26 people watching. Guys, girls, if you like what you see here, hit that thumbs up button. Hit the bell to be notified and hit the big red button that says subscribe if you are new to the channel. Myself and Unorthodox will be live Wednesday night for the Pro-Am Series at the Daytona Road Course, and then Dan Davis and Big Boy Brazier, Jamie Brazier, will be live Thursday night for the Pro Series. So make sure you join us for that one and come along and say hi, give your support to the drivers on the track, and yeah, that'll be good to see you all there, especially Wednesday night when I'm commentating with Dan, because then I'll be able to see you as well. So safety car then, Smithy Leon Fernie, Craigie, all trying to fight. No, it's Smoky Devil and Craigie. What is happening at the back of the pack here? DJ Phil seems to be causing a few kerfuffles here because Craigie's past him. I wonder if Phil's had an off. We're all waiting for these four to get on the back of the pack. They should do before the next thing. Before the safety car comes in. Keep your eyes on them safety car lights. It will come up saying safety car in this lap. Gary, though, has to lead them away. Now, Gary's hard tyres are 8 laps old. They won't take as much heating up as Dan's and Jamie's. This is Gary's chance. Needs a good... to gap them by a good margin here. Gary will be rapid at the end. Dan has got to go some 28 laps on these hards. Jamie in the chat earlier said, God, my tyres were dead. So Gary will have that bonus of fresh, soft tyres at the end. Safety car then is coming in. Did Dan just tap the back of Gary there? I heard a noise. Leon Fernie, Craigie, Smoky Devil have all got penalties. Don't forget, Craigie and Smoky Devil have got to serve a drive-through. Let's just take a look at the penalty. A drive-through for Craig and Smoky. Leon Fernie, he's got himself a 5-second penalty. Here we go then. Gary on the restart. We've lost that Bozzy boy at the moment. Mazda's up to 5th. Fury's up to 4th. Forzy's down to 7th. Had a shocking Catalunya. And Gary then chooses to go now and has absolutely gone. Half a second ahead of Dan already. Can he stay there though? Can he extend that gap? We're at the circuit Paul Ricard. Who's that in the background? It's PN. What has happened there? I just see in the background he's had a huge smash. Craigie comes in. I think he's trying to do his drive-through. PN is out of this race. Yellow flag sector 3, and I think because the pack is so clumped together, PM Motorsport will get away with no safety car here. So could Gary have done with the safety car? They've cleared PN's car. It will be no points for Prema from both drivers. So one of their drivers will not score a point. Meaning that PN Motorsport then, nothing for the feature race. Gary a little wide. Now Dan can have a look at him. Back down the pack. Smithy having a look at the back of Smoky Devil. No DRS just yet. Smithy wants though. He's looking as Gary has just been passed by Unorthodox for the race. Gary up the inside, and you can trust Dan and him to go side by side for a bit of action. And that is Gary not yet through. The camera now decides to change properly. Dan now comes back through the inside of Gary. They touch a little bit. Gary's trying to hang it around the outside. Jamie Brazier's going to have a look now. We're getting past Gary up the inside into the hairpin. And is that Gary through? Yes. Holds position. Fury as well is having a look. Fury's got past Big Boy Brazier. What a battle from the front four. Dan, Gary, Fury, Jamie, Mazda, Forzy on the back of him. Leon Fernie in the pits. Smoky Devil has a drive-through to do. Craigie's got his cleared, so Smithy should get past him. Although it didn't look like he got a great run. Back up front, Forzy's got past Mazda then. Gone very deep, and he'll have to yield that place back, and indeed he does. Feels like I was tapped from behind, says PM Motorsport in the chat. 26 people watching, 13 likes, guys, girls, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new and hit the bell to be notified. Forzy on the back of Mazda, and this is a repeat of race 1. Fury needs to make up some points from his race 1. Look at these four. All for the lead here. Jamie letting Dan go. Leon Fernie coming out the pit lane now. Craigie gets past after his drive-through. Some great overtakes. Bozzy Boy has left the session. And it was, if Bozzy looks back at this, it was probably one of the slowest spins he's ever had. Yellow flag sector 2. That is Smoky Devil as Forzy's looking on the back of Mazda. And Mazda defends that one. Smoky Devil's had a spin, and that puts Smithy up to 9th, and he's 1.7 off the back of DJ Phil. He's got a monumental task to get them soft tyres to the end. Dan very slidey through that final corner. Gary having to defend from a fast Fury on the soft tyre. There's Dan, there's Gary, there's Fury, there's Jamie. DRS doesn't open, it's enabled this lap. So Fury really going to look to get on the back of Gary 131. There's Jamie Brazier. Is Fury going to pull out and have a look? He's looking up the inside. Can't get it done. Gary runs a little deep though, and does that give Fury a sniff of an opportunity? It does at turn 2. And Jamie Brazier as well. He's looking for that gap. Gary's lost to Fury. And could he lose to Jamie Brazier? He has. But he's going to pull out, look on the inside, no, tucks back in and goes round the outside of Jamie. Can't get it done. See Gary, one little mistake at turn 1. Did Fury just do enough to make him to force Gary into a mistake? Forzie's got past Mazda as well to try and put the pressure on, but Forzie and Fury, let's not forget, are on the soft tyre. That is going to be a tough ask for them to get to the end of this race. Smokey in for his drive-through. He's out now ahead of Leon Fernie, his teammate. So Dan from Fury, Jamie, Gary, Forzie, Mazda, DJ Phil with A. Smith right on the back of him here. And Smithy then will have DRS. And he set one on Phil at this part of the track in the sprint race on the last lap for the win. Phil tries to defend, he can't come anymore. And gives that place then. It has to yield to A. Smith, who's gone very wide there. And manages to stay in front. Smithy on the soft tyre, though, you'd imagine as well, will struggle on the back. Yellow flag sector 2. That is Craig E, who's had an off. And Smokey Devil will come through past Craig E. You'd imagine Leon Fernie would, but let's go back to the leaders because Jamie's got DRS on Fury and Jamie pulls out now. He's gone a long way across. Can Gary follow Jamie through? He's not close enough. Jamie's done Fury before the corner. And as easy as you like, Jamie through. Little deep though into turn 1. That allows Fury to try and come back at him here. And is he going to look back at him into turn 4? As through 3 they go. Dan starting to pull away. This is not playing out for Gary as he wanted it. And Jamie hangs on. Look at Gary and Fury behind them. What an absolutely epic battle this is. On board Gary. Fury looking very racy tonight. And Dan starting to pull away. Forzie starting to close in on these. Mazda just hasn't had the pace tonight as Fury gets closer to the back of Jamie, but no cigar there. And what a battle this is. Look how close Fury's getting to the back of Jamie Brazier there. Absolutely epic battle between these three. Forzie really gaining on Gary now. In fact, has DRS on Gary in the background. So Forzie really coming as well on these. And does Fury think of ascending up the inside? He pulls out now, you know, but can't get it done. Now, lap 7 on the soft tyre for Fury. Is this where his tyres are starting to just maybe go off a little bit? This could be the issue. Fury could just be losing out. Yellow flag sector 1. That is, I believe, DJ Phil. It was DJ Phil, but the others are a bit too far back. What's happened? Yellow flag further back. Not sure why. Leon Fernie a little slow. Smokey Devil disqualified for ignoring his drive-through penalty. So Smokey Devil disqualified in P11. So not the start to the race to his night he'd have wanted. In fact, it's P13 actually for Smokey Devil. Because of the disqualification, that pumps Bozzy Boy and PM Motorsport up a place. So a disqualification there. And Dan now pulling a bigger gap. Fury still looking on the back. And now look, it's not 4 for the lead, it's 4 for second. Forzie has dropped Mazda, but it's Jamie, Fury, Gary, Forzie, all in a train. And is Fury close enough? Jamie's not got DRS, but at the minute he's managed to deal with having no DRS. He pulls out to have a look on Big Boy Brazier now, and he gets through. What a move. Does Jamie try and come back at him? He does. They tap a little bit. Gary gets a bit closer. Can Gary keep it tight and follow Jamie through like they did to him? No, he can't. And Fury now having a look back at Jamie. Does Gary follow Fury through this time? And Jamie just closes the door enough on Fury, who manages to hold it, but could lose out to Gary. No, he doesn't. What a battle this is between these four. Absolutely fantastic racing. Fury's soft tyres must be starting to go off. Forzie's must be getting close. And this is just allowing Dan to do the London buses here. Here comes Forzie on the back of Gary in the background, and that is P4. And job done. Easy as you like, but he's on soft tyres, let's not forget. Gary on the 14-lap old hards. Gary can be quicker at the end. But his problem is he's in a fight with these. Gary's going to need another safety car. So Forzie up into P4. Gary still within DRS range, but not close enough. Fury looks like he's a little further back from Big Boy Brazier. Someone who doesn't look like he's far back is this man, though. Didn't see much of him in the sprint race. Kind of had the pace to be fourth best. And he's going to look up the inside of Fury. No, can't be close enough by the end of the start straight. Through 1 and 2, into 3, the helicopter. Great shots here at Catalunya. And this is an epic battle between all of these drivers. Absolutely epic. And for Forzie and Fury, they're starting to look a little quicker, but the problem is they're on them softs, and there is no way them soft tyres are getting to the end of this race. Forzie's soft tyres 2 laps younger than Fury's then, so this could be why he's a little quicker. Fury there, look, a huge wiggle, and is he just starting to struggle? Gary's dropped off the back of these two. You'd imagine Gary's fighting these two for a podium, but Mazda could be also the other one to watch for the podium. With 9 lap old hards here, these two and Gary have got to pick. Gary has to pick, because he's not yet been in. Here, though, comes Fury. Yellow flag sector 2. That is Craig E. Once again, everybody that's now in this race will score a point. So that will be points for Leon Fernie, Craig, Phil, Smithy, Master, Gary. The problem is Gary and Smithy losing a lot of points to unorthodox. As Fury looking on Jamie Brazier. No can do there. And the gap out front 3.2 seconds. Fury getting close to the back of Jamie again. There's Forzie and Gary in the background. These the closest battles on track. 3 tenths separate Big Boy and Fury. 5 tenths separate Forzie and Fury. 5 tenths separate Gary and Forzie. So it's as close all the way across the board here. And this is Gary's view of the cars in front. Nice and smooth from Gary 131. And anybody going to make a move into the hairpin? No, but all at DRS. Mazda. Oh, Gary there just taps the back of Forzie a little bit. And they all get through cleanly. Huge moment there for Gary. Nearly lost the rear of it. Manages to hold on. So for Gary 131, what can he do? For this man, he's a lot closer to Jamie. Didn't necessarily get a great run, but it has brought the gap down to Jamie, actually. Gary's got past Forzie. Forzie's in. So 2 laps earlier than Fury. Forzie pits. Definitely a slight tap. I caught the gravel mess, says PN in the chat. So Forzie pits, and Fury cannot get past Jamie then. So Gary, clear track. When will he pit? Forzie's now down to 7th. Not yet out the pit lane. His teammate DJ Phil's entering the final couple of corners. Forzie leaves now. Forzie's on fresh hards till the end. 19 laps to go in this race. And Forzie on the fresh tyre. DJ Phil will actually get past him. So DJ Phil up into 7th. So Forzie's teammate has some work to do to get past his teammate, rival if you will, now a 4-horse battle has become a 2-horse battle because Gary's just a bit too far out of DRS range now from Fury. But Fury's tyres must be crying. Look at the graining on the left-hand side tyre, the rear right as it is. What about the fronts? Don't look too bad at the minute, to be fair. He's closer to Jamie. Let's look through this last sector. How close can he get to the back of Big Boy Brazier? As PN says, don't know whether to put it into the stewards or not. Oh, he just taps the sausage curb. Has a wiggle, loses all momentum. I thought Gary had gone in the pits, but he's actually lost a 10th to these two. DRS opens once again and looks slowly. He starts to pull the car in. Breaks into turn 1 right on the rear. They've pulled a gap from Gary and are actually now starting to catch Dan. A bit of a pop there. Not sure what that was from Fury's car. Forsey though on the back of his teammate here. Will DJ Phil let him through? Forsey's going to have DRS, so should clear Phil quite easy. Although Phil there looks like he come across the front of his teammate. You put into the stewards, PN, what you feel you need to, buddy. And Phil defends from Forsey, but Forsey makes that one easy work, although he ran deep and Phil doesn't fight him too hard. And Forsey back up to 7th, 19 seconds off the back of Smithy, who you'd imagine's got to pit again, as does Fury, who is now 2 tenths off the back of Jamie. And is this where Fury makes to move to the outside? He goes. And no move there, as he cannot get that one done. As Dan, 3.3 clear. He is flying at the minute, is on Orthodubs. When does Fury pit? When does Gary pit? That's the biggest question. Mazda could be on for this 3rd place. It's a long old pit stop. Fury actually staying out at the moment, so choosing not to pit. Neither does Gary. We know 26 laps the Hards did in the first race. Gary's strategy not worked, but he's not had the pace of Dan he did actually in the first race, wasn't he? He was matching him in the first race. So could he take fastest lap away? Current person on fastest lap is Big Boy Brazier. So Dan not able to beat that just yet. What a cracking battle this has been, though, between Fury and Jamie and Gary and Forsey when he was there. It's been an absolutely epic battle. One for the ages, and unfortunately we didn't get the highlights this week. I will get them out next week. I'm learning something new in terms of getting the commentary over the music as well. So it just took me a bit longer this week, plus been a little busier as well. But I will get them done for next week. Don't you worry about that. Fury, then you imagine, has to come into the pits. He's actually gained on Jamie in this last sector, so it seems to be the last sector where Fury is a bit better than Jamie. Does he opt to pit, though? No, he's going to stay out. And is really close this time, under 2 tenths nearly. And as that DRS opens now, this could be Fury's best chance at getting past here. And he pulls out now. Fury actually sets the fastest lap, so takes it away from Big Boy Brazier and goes into P2. So Fury, good job. Smithy in the pits. Does Forsey get past? Coming into the final sector now. Smithy's not even in his pit box yet. Yellow flag sector 2. That is Leon Fernie, who's lost all his wing. So Craigie gains a place. In fact, he's out the race. So it has retired him from the race. He will get 10th place nonetheless. But Leon Fernie out of this one. It is a point on the board for him. But what a shame. Smithy comes out behind DJ Phil. So once again, he's got to try and pass DJ Phil. We have a virtual safety car for Leon Fernie. So then Gary has the time here. If the VSC stays out and is kind to him, Gary could get a free pit stop. As could Fury. Which could put them ahead of Mazda. Does Dan up to pit? He's got a free pit stop as well. VRS has ended. VRC has ended, sorry. DRS enabled straight away. So then, it didn't work. Gary will not get the free pit stop. Jamie, though, is within 6/10 of Fury and coming at him, but Fury's tyres are never going to make it to the end of this race. Surely, Gary pits now. 20 old hard tyres. And Gary pits on lap 22 of this race. They've done 21 laps by the time he finishes his lap as he crosses the line. Starts lap 22. So it is 16, 15 laps to the end for Gary 131 to do. Jamie looking all over Fury. Just cannot find a way past at the minute. Gary drops behind Fawzi, drops behind DJ Phil, is going to drop behind his teammate as well. So Gary 131 strategy has not worked, and at the minute will probably lose the championship lead in this feature race with more points on offer. Dan out front, we haven't seen him, but look at this battle. Big boy Brazier, Fury can't squeeze him anymore because Jamie's got the run, and up the inside Jamie goes, and the camera's not panned round to see yet. But Fury tries to hang it in there and can't do so. Jamie back into second place. And all Fury's tyres just dying out. Gary on fresh softs. Going to the end. Will be absolutely rapid. Does Fury pit or will he stay out? He stays out here. So Fury is going to go for the DRS again. And try and get past Big Boy Brazier. But he's just not close enough. Does he think of sending it? He tries to put Jamie off. Can't do it. And I think Fury's tyres are done. That front left is starting to look worse and worse. The front right doesn't look too tasty either. Is that just a bit of pickup though? As that has quickly gone. That front left, though, is taking a battering. Lap 23 of 37. We are coming to the end of this race. And for Fury here, he has fought so hard and so well. Had a great battle early on with that Buzzy boy. Yellow flag, sector 1. That is A. Smith. And I think has lost a front wing. Let's have a look. Has lost half a front wing. That is big front wing damage. That could help Craigie score some more points. It has not been Smithy's night. One man whose night it has been is this man. But for Fury, it has surely got to be about getting to the end of this race. Hard tyres he has surely got to pit for, unless he could put another set of softs on if he has them at his disposal. He's got DRS. He's a little closer to Jamie. Let's go on board. He's going to have a look up the inside, and is he going to make it stick? He does, you know. Jamie tries to hang it in, but decides to fight it another day. And Fury's tyres have got to be screaming at him. Jamie back up the inside. Look at this from these two. What an epic scrap. Tries to run Fury out of room. An epic fight from Fury and Big Boy Brazier here. Absolutely fantastic. Gary, first lap on the softs, into the 29s, as easy as you like. Smithy pits for the wing. Could this help Craigie get past Smithy? Fury will have DRS once again on Big Boy Brazier. Jamie just seems so much better in that first sector than Fury. Fury seems better at the end. Gary has cleared DJ Phil, and he's 9 seconds off the back of his main championship rival. Will want to get past him to keep the gap, extend that gap in fact, because Dan and Jamie are going to score big tonight. Fury has to pit soon, surely. As Smithy's only just coming out of the pits, he's going to be lapped by Dan. Fury doesn't pit. So Fawzi pitted on 10-lap-old softs when Fury's were 12-lap-old for a set of hards. Was that the right call from Forsey? Because Fury is making these soft tyres work. Jamie defends this time from Fury. And Fury has to tuck in, and Gary is hunting Forsey down. Did Forsey choose the right tactic? Fury then, still really attacking, and I have to take my hats off to it because Fury has been fantastic today. The poll will end at the end of this lap for who you think will win, so get your votes in by the end of this lap. We will end this poll. Fury has been brilliant. Say he missed the sprint race. Imagine if he was here for the sprint, because Fury's been fantastic. Smithy 9 seconds off the back of Craig E, but he's on 14-lap-old softs. So that isn't what he wants. Gary's got the gap to him and Forsey down to 7 seconds. Forsey on 6-lap-old hards to Mazda's 18-lap-old hards. He's 22 seconds behind. Can Gary get this? Mazda's not really making inroads on Fury, but Fury is now just starting to struggle on Jamie, I'd say. Jamie's going to pit, as does Fury. Now, what an interesting strategy. Fury's hit the wall. He's hit the wall on pit entry. Can you believe it? Where is Mazda? He's going to take P2. He could be in the box seat. Where's Jamie? His tyres are changed for softs, fresh softs, and he goes. Fury's in, and it's going to be a wing change. Oh, Fury, what have you done? Too hot an entry, and Fury has possibly ruined a podium. Mazda is in second place, and say he's not had the pace of Jamie. He's some 17 seconds ahead of Jamie. Forsey gets past Fury. Where's Gary? Gary's going to clear Fury as well. So Fury's down to 6th. DJ Phil is too far back to get Fury though, but what has Fury done? He's on 6-lap-old softs as well. So it's going to be a struggle for him to get to the end. Gary's up to 5th and closing on Forsey. Forsey could have a battle with Jamie because that's only 3.6. But Jamie on fresh softs could really gain on Mazda. 11 to go in this race. And this man sitting on the podium. Dan has traffic. Dan's now going to box. Dan has seen what Jamie's done and he's going to pit as well. So this man could be sitting in the box seat for a race win. He stays out. Well, I wouldn't think we'd have seen this today. Mazda leads the race from Dan, who's just coming out the pit lane. Jamie's coming through the final sector now. He's not going to be close enough because Dan is off the limiter and away. Mazda has a good 8-second gap. 9 seconds, maybe 10 seconds to Dan as Dan exits the pits. Jamie is 7 seconds behind. Forsey is 5 behind Jamie. Gary has got a gap under 5 seconds to Forsey. Well, it's game on, and it is anybody's win. 10 to go, and Dan needs to take a second a lap out of this man. But Dan knows how hard this man is to pass. What drama here at the end of the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya race. The Grand Prix coming to an end. Absolutely mega drive from all of these drivers tonight. 5 seconds the gap, Jamie to Dan. Jamie would have had the warm-up in them tyres. Gary is bringing the gap down to Forsey, hand over fist. The fastest lap is Gary 131s at the minute as well. Mazda, who had a baby girl 2 weeks ago, or his partner had a baby girl 2 weeks ago, leads the F2 Grand Prix in the feature race. Dan has the gap down to 9 seconds, but that will counter as it goes. In fact, it's not, because Dan is flying through these sectors. He could bring that gap down to Mazda in no time. 8.5 the gap already. Gary's got the gap down to 4.2. This man leads the race. Dan has been dominant. Chose to pit. Was that for the fastest lap to take away from Gary? Jamie now does the fastest lap of the race. What a race. Lap 28 to 37. 10 to go. And Jamie here is going to try and close Dan down. DJ Phil repits. This could give Craigie, maybe not actually. Craigie and Smithy are only just coming into the final sector. Smithy, though, will want some more points. They need to score big. Pramer not scoring big at all, with only Jamie scoring points. Dan on his own, Colin not scoring big. DJ Phil will be caught, though, by Craigie and Smithy. But Mazda leads this race from this man. Jamie trying to close in. Forsey has the gap to 3.5 seconds. Smithy once again in the pits here. So an interesting call for Smithy to be in the pits. Dan has the gap down to 6.2 seconds. Craigie is within 6 seconds now with DJ Phil. DJ Phil on 6 lap old mediums, and Smithy pitting his softs are on 17 laps. Mazda's hards have done 22. Craigie can get to the end of this race, as can Mazda. This man is on a charge. He's catching Forsey hand over fist at the minute. Dan is catching Mazda hand over fist. That is purely because Dan's on fresh tyres, Mazda is not. I've got a feeling, though, we will be speaking to Mazda on the podium. 16 likes. Let's get this stream to 20 likes. And hit that subscribe button as well. What a feature race we've had tonight. 5 seconds the gap down to Mazda. It's less than a second a lap he needs now. But Mazda, it's one thing catching, it's another thing to pass, said the late great Murray Walker. This man 2 seconds to Forsey, and that is his teammate who's a lap down just in front. And that isn't the line he wants to take. So that'll help Forsey out a little bit there. Dan on a mission. We've not seen him in this feature race. We barely saw him in the sprint race. This man is on a mission. A point to prove after last week. He said he's going to struggle to win an F2 race. 37 race wins he's had here at Simplay Motorsport. He's 7 ahead of Fury once again. And Dan will really want to make this race win number 38 as he closes in on his 50 mark. Dan now does the fastest lap and is only 3.5 off the back of Mazda here. And I tell you what, Dan could be in for an absolute fantastic end to this race. He's got to, though, clear Mazda. Jamie doesn't seem to have an answer for Dan in this one. Gary Soft still a better age than Forsey's Hards, but they're slowly going to change. As Gary puts the lap on his teammate and can now see Forsey. 2.3 is the gap. The gap out front, though, this is the closest battle at the minute. Until... and I'll wait for it. Now, Dan is closer to Mazda than Gary is to Forsey. Dan is coming. Next time round, we'll probably have DRS. 9/10 in the last sector is doable for him to maybe get DRS, but I don't know. Well, no, in fact, you know what? Dan could quite easily get DRS on Mazda here at the end. He is going to get DRS on Mazda at the end. Now, will Mazda fight Dan for this for this race win? Lap 31 of 37 they start. 7 laps to go, and Dan is closing, pulls out. Mazda doesn't even bother, because he knows that Unorthodox is a lot faster. He's already pulled 0.6 of a second out. Gary to Forsey, still 2.3. Gary not starting to make the progress he needed, and he's going to lose out big to Dan and big to Forsey. Well, I say big to Forsey, just a couple of points to Forsey. Gap 2.1. Mazda's already lost a second. Mazda's got 5 seconds to this man. Come on, Dan, send it, says Mother Davis. He doesn't need to send it because he has flew past him. .3, Big Boy Brazier to Mazda. Who's going to take what? Driver of the day poll. Going out now. And I've added Fury to that list just for his second race of his overtakes and everything because he's been fantastic. 4.9 Jamie to Mazda now. Dan, fastest lap of the race. And he's on fire at the minute. Gary's got the gap down to 1.7. This is technically the closest battle on track. As Gary then at the moment is really going to try and reel him in. He can see him, look, he's getting closer. Gary, though, makes a mistake of turn 1, really outbrakes himself, and that's going to not help him with Forsey. Mazda's 3 seconds behind Dan. I think Mazda's got a podium here, because even if Gary gets past Forsey, even if Jamie gets past Mazda, Forsey and Gary are too far back to do anything. 24 people watching, 27 likes on this stream. Guys, girls, hit that thumbs up and let's get this stream to 20 likes just for this race. Gary then within 1.6 seconds now. This, the closest battle on track between this man and this man. Hi-Tech versus ART. 1.6 seconds separates the pair of them. The gap to Mazda and Jamie is 2.9. Lap 32. They're about to start lap 33. Dan crosses the line now to start it. So Mazda is really going to struggle. It might be really defending from Jamie late on in this race. But Jamie coming at him like a rate of knots at this moment in time. .1 Gary to Forsey now. 1.7 Jamie to Mazda. So the gaps are really coming down now. 1.2 the gap. Jamie's is 1.6. Gary just made a mistake through there. I think had a bit of a wiggle because the gap did dip under a second. Look at his front left. You see the inner side of that front left looking battered and bruised. Jamie's a lot closer to Mazda than Gary is Forsey. So let's jump to Jamie then, who is right now within a second from Mazda. I don't think Mazda's going to fight this. I think Mazda is going to just do what he did with Dan. Let Jamie go and hold on to that third place. And what a smart tactic it would be. Jamie then through past Mazda, and yep, look, you see Mazda there just not fighting him. He knows he's got a slower car at the minute because of his tyres. He knows he can't do it so far. Gary under a second to Forsey. There then is Forsey. There's the gap that you see. And 7 tenths. Mazda is just dropping back from Jamie. 17 seconds Forsey to Mazda. Mazda's done well to get his tyres 27 laps in. Gary just starting to close in on the back of Forsey. And is getting right with him. DRS this part of the track for Gary, 0.8 of a second. His soft tyres absolutely flying. Lap 34 or 37. Dan's into the final part of the track. He's lapped Smithy, he's lapped Craigie. 16 seconds Forsey to Mazda. That isn't going to happen, but this man could beat his championship rival at the minute. Although Dan and Jamie are really going to be in this hunt. It will be 4 for the championship going into Paul Ricard next week, you'd imagine. Half a second the gap between these two now. Gary needs a good run out of here. Does he get that good run? It's pretty even, to be fair. Gary just pulls a couple of hundredths back. And now the rear wing flaps open. This is where Gary's going to absolutely close up to the back of him. Under 5/10. Under 4/10. Is he going to do him under the brakes? Forsey goes defensive and Gary can't get it done just yet. 0.2 of a second Gary got within there. And you have to say there's been great battles throughout here. So far, Unorthodox taking the vote for driver of the day from Fury and then Jamie. No votes yet for Mazda. The only reason Mazda I've put on this list is because of this second drive. 26 laps, Jamie said his hards were dead in the sprint. Mazda's gone 28 and he's going to go actually 30 laps on them hard tyres. His tyres must be screaming out. We'll have a quick look. Actually look better than Gary's softs do to Mazda's hards at the minute. So Mazda must have been looking after them early in the race. He didn't seem to have much pace and must have been looking after them. Here comes Gary though. DRS pulls out now, sells the dummy, does he? Oh, that was 2 moves that from Forsey. So just got to be careful with that one. That was 2 moves there. And it's a good job Gary wasn't alongside. Forsey then. I'll need to just watch that. Gary, if he can be that bit closer out of here now, we'll be a lot closer. He had a bit of a wiggle, but did get the better run compared to Forsey. Now here he comes. Half a second was the gap. It's under that. It's about the same as what it was actually last time round. It's under 4/10. Forsey's already gone defensive. Gary gets it to 2/10. Gets so close, but can't get past. And Gary is going to run out of tyre here, you'd imagine, because 13 lap hold. He's just going to start to struggle. That front left looks horrendous. Lap 36 of 37. Dan is coming up to the hairpin. That is how far Dan is in the lead of this race. He's at the hairpin at the end of sector 2. So Dan is gone. Here though comes Gary once again, and Forsey on that inside line. Oh, Gary tries to tuck underneath. They have a bit of a touch. Elbows out from these two. Forsey bounces off the curb, and does that give Gary a run? It does! And what a manoeuvre! Forsey just bounces off the curb, and he's going to have to yield to Gary 131. He sticks it round the outside. Now Gary's going to have to yield, but he tries to keep it in there. Forsey gives him the room, and they still stay side by side. Forsey's just in front. I think Gary will get the DRS, and this will now give Gary a huge launch down the start-finish straight. And indeed it does look. He's side by side, and Gary just comes across. Fury's in the pits once again. Gary up into 4th, and Forsey, what a battle side by side for 4 corners. Fantastic. Get your final votes in for driver of the day. Fury pits though. Where's DJ Phil? He is clear. Fury will be. He's going to not get them softs as far as he did earlier on. Forsey though, trying to look back underneath Gary 131. Forsey maybe just having the better traction at the minute with his tyres in a better shape. Gary though still up that inside. Gary, is he going to try and get it done? He has. Still side by side. They still touch wheels a little bit. Gary now will have the inside line. Forsey though will have DRS, and Gary manages to get that done. Great manoeuvre. Yellow flag sector 2. That is A. Smith. Forsey to the outside. What we've actually missed, sorry, apologies, we've missed while watching that crazy battle. Dan's won the race, we've missed that. Jamie Brazier's got P2, so apologies to Dan there for missing that. Mazda is coming across for a P3 on his first outing. What a job. Gary, though, it looks like he's going to hang on for that P4, so apologies for missing the end of this one. But Gary 131 will hang on for P4. Forsey will come across P5. Fury P6 when he gets there. Craigie's already crossed the line in 8th. So do apologise for not seeing Gary 131 cross the line. Here comes Smithy to cross the line in 9th. For not seeing Dan Unorthodox cross the line. Fury will be the next man. And is well in front of the rest. He'll be 6th place. DJ Phil is some 30 seconds ahead of Craigie, but Craigie's already finished. DJ Phil will be 7th. What an epic fight. Dan took fastest lap of the race as well, I do believe. We will just wait for it as Fury weaves across the line. But what a drive there. Respect, great battle from Forsey and Gary, says Mike Matthews. Well done, says Mother Davis. What a drive at the end from every driver. Clean till the very end. And Unorthodox does the London buses. And let's get him, Gary, and him, Master, and Jamie Brazier in the chat. What a battle, though, from Gary 131 and everybody else. As Dan now gets to the podium. And what a drive from this man. The London buses here at Catalonia. Gary 131 and Forsey, what a drive. We await Dan and Jamie and Mazda to come in. Mazda's just got in. The podium celebrations, though. Dan is in it as well. Do we have Jamie here?
Not yet.
Not yet. Well, we'll start then with Mazda. Fastest lap of the race did go the way of Unorthodox. So just before we start with Mazda, let's look then at this championship table. And I tell you what, Dan and Jamie tonight have really clawed the points back in the driver's standing, because the top 4 are separated by 8 points. But Gary still leads the way. 3 points clear of his old GT3 rival Unorthodox. Now, how fitting. Never won anything bar a GT championship is Gary and Dan, yet they're 1 and 2. Forsey drops to 3rd, 8 points off the back. He's tied with Big Boy Brazier. Fury up onto 27 points ahead of PM Motorsport, who stays on 20. DJ Phil gets himself on 19, tied with Mazda, who's already tied 7th after his first races, so what a job from him. Rabbit Joe a point behind them in 9th. Smithy tied with him in 10th. Lucas Roth not here tonight in 11th. Craigie moves up to 12. Leon Fernie 5 points down in 13th. Bozzy Boy got his first point tonight. Bryn on 1, Smoky Devil on 1 as well. And in the Constructors' Championship, 7 points separate the top 4 teams. ART of Gary and Smithy lead the way. 4 points clear of Carlin from Dan and Lucas Roth. Pramer 6 points behind. I should say Carlin are 4 behind. Pramer 6 points behind in P3 with that of Big Boy Brazier and PM Motorsport. Imagine if PN had scored points. High Tech are 7 points behind that of Forsey and DJ Phil. Trident 42 behind of Rabbit Joe and Fury. Uni Vitrosi, Jamie?
Uni Virtuosi.
Virtuosi, I will get it right. They are 67 behind, with Mazda and Bozzy Boy getting off the mark today. HWA Race Lab on 16, Campos on 6, and MP Motorsport on 1. We've got the top 3 in for a quick chat. We'll start with Mazda, and that was one heck of a stint on them hard tyres.
Yeah, well, I couldn't believe it. I honestly couldn't believe it.
They looked absolutely fantastic. They looked better than Gary Softs when we joined on board. How was they at the end?
Do you know what? I could have gone another probably 10 laps more, but that would have been the push, I think.
Now, you didn't have great pace. You didn't have great pace earlier in the race after the safety car. Was it tyre saving? Because at the end, you did what you needed to get ahead of Gary and Forsey when they pitted, and you didn't fight Dan and Jamie. You knew that wasn't your fight.
Yeah, well, I've been talking to Dan all through tonight, and that race, I said, look, if you're gonna come, you're gonna catch me, because he was covering off Jamie, so I was like, them two are just gonna fly. And then I just thought, yeah, I'd stick to my race. If a safety car come out, I would have gone on for softs and see what happens, but I just head down and just drove my race.
Now, a fantastic night, obviously. How did you find the F2's first time out?
Interesting, very interesting. So I'm happy I'm in.
Paul Ricard next week.
Oh God. Yeah.
What can you do around there?
I don't know. I don't like that track, so just probably just scored team points for the team. Hopefully, you know, me and Liam don't come together again.
Yeah, no, that was my last point. Was just going to ask you that I could see you slowing down. You got a bit of a tap on Smithy, which kind of put you into Bozzy Boy, which caused his wheel to come off there.
Well, yeah, but he was racing Fury. You see, them two were having a great battle. And I was like, I'm just going to sit back. But as you say, I was trying to defend from Smithy, so I was like, well, what do I do? And then next minute, them two come together, and I had nowhere to go. So
yeah, you could see when Bozzy Boy spun that you slowed down and got the tap from Smithy that put you into him. But nevertheless, Mazda, fantastic job tonight, and great to see you back here after obviously the birth of your baby girl. So great to see you back and on the podium. And we go to our P2 man, and Jamie, last week you dominated Algarve. You just did not have the pace tonight for Dan.
No, I didn't have the pace tonight at all. So sector 1 I was alright, but and sector 2 was kind of meh. But that final sector is just horrible. It was just a chicane. I just kept losing all my time.
Now you was battling with Fury, which was a fantastic battle. Fury did seem to have the better of you in that last sector. Was you surprised he didn't pit earlier on them softs?
Yeah, I was surprised to begin with. I was surprised he didn't try to get rid of the softs quickly, but then I saw he was keeping up with me, and that his tyre life was pretty good. So I wasn't that surprised. And then when the VSC came out, I was debating coming in, but I thought by that point Fury's tyres must have gone off. But it was a good fight.
It was a great fight. P2 nonetheless in both races tonight. You're very fortunate in race 1. You're 8 points off the championship lead. You're 5 points behind Dan. What an epic night's worth of racing, and 4 for the championship. This is proving that the F2s are a lot more entertaining than the F1s.
Oh yeah, they're a lot more entertaining than the F1s. I think Dan will agree. He possibly could have fallen asleep in the F1s. I think from hearing the commentary, you're up on your toes, shouting at everything.
Yeah, I am up on my toes, especially when the racing's as good. Jamie, Paul Ricard next week. What can you do around there?
Hopefully get a win and beat Dan. Try and get the championship lead. But I'm just glad that Catalonia's gone, and hopefully I never have to drive it again.
Finally as well, pole position for yourself tonight. Let's put you on 20. You're 12 behind Andy, and you're now 1 ahead of Gary 131, so still sort of up in your stats here.
Yeah, so I didn't think I had pole position until I got through to the middle sector and saw I was purple. I thought, oh, Dan must have made a mistake, and I saw at the line how close it was.
It was fantastic to see. Well done nonetheless, Jamie. Shame for PN, but I'm sure you'll do better next week at Paul Ricard. And 1 brings 2. London Buses, as Kieran Argent would say if he was here. Dan, you said you might never win an F2 race, and you've gone and won 2. What would you know?
Yeah. This race was not as easy as it looks, especially with this heat. Well, also I've been suffering with a headache throughout most of that as well, so concentration was difficult. But nonetheless, for some reason I hate this circuit, but I always go well at Catalonia. So I'll be happy to take 2 race wins, and more importantly, Gary didn't score very well, so that was the main thing to keep an eye on. And 3 points now, or 5 points, whatever it is.
3 points, yeah.
3 points. Game 1, Gary, I'm coming for you.
3 points in that, 4 points in the constructors, and that was without Keeks tonight as well. So, great fight all round. You've had a great pace tonight, though, setting fastest lap after fastest lap in the sprint race, which we'll get to in a moment, and setting, a bit harder in that second race to get the fastest lap. But either way, great pace all night.
Yeah, well, obviously the sprint race, everyone on similar tyres, and I knew DJ Bill the only one to go for soft, so everyone was kind of on a level playing field on that. So it was like, just focus on my lap times, and it would just roll one after the other. And I found actually the hard tyre was better than the soft. It's a much better race tyre. But the softs were just good for like a couple of laps, and then they just died. But nonetheless, it was great fun, and the racing that me and Jamie had and Gary had, Ballsy as well, all of us were all very clean and close to one another, and definitely had a heart in my mouth moment when me and Gary went in the final sector. Yeah,
definitely. So, talk us to the sprint race, though, Dan, because your emotions must have been up and down. I've had your stream on my phone next to me, just more for the tyre life than anything else, to be honest with you. Bit of an incident with Bozzy Boy opening lap, bit of an incident, Bozzy Boy, when you lapped him. I bet you thought Gary had gone and won that race.
Yeah, it was just frustrating because obviously blue flags are being thrown. So naturally, most of the other guys got out of the way relatively quickly and easily, which was no issue. I've got to praise Craig because he did it perfect every time. It was just like Liam just wanting to hold me up. I don't know if it was because of what happened lap 1. I had a lag with him and he suddenly went off track, so I don't know if that's why he was annoyed or something, but it just felt like he was just trying to make my life more hard work. Might have just been wrong positioning, wrong time, who knows, but I was a bit frustrated because it was a decent gap and just disappeared within one corner.
Well, either way, you got the fans vote with Fiori, joint vote tonight for driver of the day, so congratulations on that. And you're going to get my vote for driver of the day as well. That's no hint to Thursday, by the way, no pressure, but you did get my vote for driver of the day.
It's Daytona, you better deliver.
But an honourable mention to Mazda for his stint on the hard tyre, and Fiori as well, because what a fight that was. We'll be back though next Sunday night. That's all we've got time for in the F2s. Next Sunday, Paul Ricard. We head over from Spain to France as we're getting to the halfway stage of this season. Join myself and Dan live on Wednesday night. The Pro-Ams, 3 races, 3 weeks left, 6 races in total. Daytona Road Course. Will Lucas Roth be able to close that gap to Little Leach and join Dan Davis and Jamie Brazier live on Thursday for myself and Overtaker and Fiori as well, who's really starting to come back into this championship fight. Sunday night next week, Paul Ricard, for where I will be bringing you the action here in what is going to be a fantastic F2 race. 8 points separate the top 4 in the drivers, 7 points separate the top 4 in the constructors. That's all we've got time for here at Simply Motorsport. Take care. Good night. That's all we've got time for here at Simply Motorsport. Take care. Good night. Mate, that was quality.
And to my stream, before I say anything else, then I just want to go to bed now. Thank you all for watching. Thanks, James, and Matt as well, all for watching my stream. Next time we're headed to Paul Ricard, probably the most drab fucking circuit on the calendar bar this one. So we'll see you there in a week's time. Ciao.
Ciao.
Fucking hell, my head, man. I swear at one point I had a migraine.
Bless you.
Does Liam not understand flags?
I don't know.
So we are running blue flag as the F1.
Yeah. Because the game will penalise you for it.
Right.
Has he had a bitch and a moan?
Not checked my Facebook, to be fair.
He lagged out on me at the start of the race. I don't know if he did for anyone else. He just ghosted and then just went off.
He lagged on stream.
No, the only person lagging for me was you, Dan.
Oh, Dan didn't lag on my screen.
Was that at the start or just all race? Well,
he's thinking about it.
Was a lot better.
I can't remember where it was, but I think that was just after you got past there. You literally disappeared off my screen and then appeared back.